Hello everybody, today's video is about anger and tone policing. So I want you to imagine a little scenario for me. I'm going to go through this scenario with you. Okay, we're going to have fun with this, it's going to be great. Okay, so imagine, you're strolling down the street one day, so you're just going, maybe you're going shopping or something, maybe you're going to a sweet shop, it might be something really nice, you might be going to the charity shop to get yourself some nice cheap clothes like Macklemore. But anyway, you're going down the road, all of a sudden, minding your own business, that's important. Going down this road, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this random person starts yelling abuse at you, they've got this massive stick, they run up to you, hit you in the face with a stick. So you're obviously a little bit annoyed and you're thinking, you know, what the hell? I'm just minding my own business and you've hit me with a bloody great stick. All I want to do is go and have a look in the thrift shop like Macklemore, you know. But no, hit with a stick. Anyway, so first of all you think, okay, maybe I should ignore this. Maybe this is a one-off. You know, they probably didn't mean it. So anyway, on you go. Keep on walking down that road and your face is a bit sore from that stick, but never mind. So you keep on walking down that road and suddenly, out of nowhere, you won't believe it, it's a second person with another stick. It's another one of them, and all of a sudden, yep, this time they get you on the face again, and it really hurts, and you're starting to think to yourself, wait a second, why are you hitting me with this stick? I'm not doing anything. So your anger levels are starting to rise, but still, you keep on going, and you think, well, maybe if I keep on walking, they won't hit me with sticks anymore. On you go, you walk about another 3-4 metres, let's say, and then, nope, another stick, another person, another stick. And these people keep appearing all the way down the road. They're hitting you with sticks. They're yelling abuse at you. All you want to do is go down to Macklemore's thrift shop and no, you can't get on with your day because these people are hitting you with sticks. So this time you get wise to it. This time you know where they're going to come from. You know they're going to come running out of this alleyway with a massive stick. This time you're ready. And you think, if I see one more person with a stick running out of that alleyway about to hit me on my way to the thrift shop, I'm going to grab that stick. I'm going to hit them back. I'm going to hit them with that stick and I'm going to tell them to clear off. So that's what you do. This cowardly little person runs up to you with a stick. They're all ready to hit you. They've got it in their hand. They've got their angry face on. But no, you go into action mode. You're like Natasha Romanoff. Suddenly you grab the stick and you kung fu kick them and you smack them with the stick and you say, clear off. You're making me really angry. For God's sake, all I want to do is go shopping. Why won't you leave me alone? Just fuck off. And then, just from round the corner, someone's been watching you. They've been watching you this whole time. They've been watching you walking down the road. They've been watching you get beaten with sticks. They've done nothing. They could have stopped you getting beaten with these sticks. They could have picked you up when you fell. No, they've just been watching. And they walk out and you think, oh, somebody's here. Maybe they're going to help me. You know, maybe they'll report these weird people to the police. No. They walk up to you. They give you a look of disgust and disdain. And they say to you, that was a bit rude, that was a bit unkind of you to do that to that person. They didn't mean any offence. So that's tone policing and anger on the internet. That's a really nifty little metaphor for you that you can use, to sort of understand the whole scenario. It's basically like getting hit with a stick repetitively, and finally when you snap and say, I'm going to hit you with this stick if you do that one more time, people suddenly come down on you like a ton of bricks, and it's like you're the one who started the whole thing. Obviously, as rational human beings, we can see that in this scenario, say there was an actual person walking down an actual street and there were actual people hitting them with sticks, we wouldn't blame the person being hit with the sticks who finally lashes out at the people with the sticks, would we? No, we would not. We would clearly blame the people with the sticks, and we'd also be pretty damn angry with that bystander that watched the whole time and did nothing. So what that annoying bystander just did is called tone policing, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever because I always find there's so much anger directed at the person reacting to oppression, but there's hardly ever any anger directed at the people doing the oppressing in the first place, and it's just so messed up and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, surely we can see as logical human beings that these people are reacting to something bigger, and if we want to solve the problem, we don't silence the people who are experiencing the trouble and who are being oppressed. We go to the source of the problem, which is the oppression in the first place, and we fight the oppression, because once the oppression is gone, people will have nothing to react to and they won't have a reason to be angry. Surely that's just logic. Something else I often see online used as an argument when talking about social issues is this idea that the person who is the calmest and the kindest and the nicest is right all the time. you know, as if somehow the anger invalidates the cause or what you're fighting for. But I think that's nonsense, because surely somebody who has absolutely no emotional connection to it, this issue whatsoever, someone who's just playing devil's advocate, is going to be able to easily just detach from it and argue it like it's nothing. That doesn't mean they're right. I mean, obviously, I had this with arguments about marriage equality. So, you know, people would be arguing with me about should same-sex couples be able to get married, and I would get really upset about it, because obviously I might want to get married one day to someone of the same sex, and it's something that personally affects me, and they could stay really calm, and I was getting upset. Does that mean that my point of view is wrong? Well, no, it doesn't. It just means that it personally impacts me more. So I don't see that, like, emotion should sway the cause in any way whatsoever. I mean, if anything, surely it shows that there's a group that are more impacted by this and maybe should be listened to, because it's something that's really personal to them and that's impacting them so strongly. People often say you can't fight oppression with oppression, and they're kind of right, but not in the way that they think. Obviously, oppression is like a social structure, it's a power structure. So if you're being oppressed, you can't oppress your oppressors, because oppression isn't just like an opinion, it's not like an opposing view. Being oppressed actually means that you don't have the same rights, and that you're effectively, you know, you've had your rights taken away by this group that's in power. That's what oppression is. I mean, you can be in an oppressed group and be prejudiced and discriminate, certainly you can, but you can't oppress your oppressors. It just doesn't make any sense. I like to use the example of the boss and the employee. I mean, if you've got a really shitty boss and you're an employee and you go into work one day and you go up to him and you're like, "You're fired." That was my Alan Sugar impression. "You're fired, mate." It's not going to do anything. I mean, the boss isn't going to get fired because the employee says you're fired. It doesn't do anything. You don't have the power to back it up. Whereas if the boss decides one day to say to you, "You're fired," then Alan Sugar says, "You have to go, your career is over, Alan Sugar has ended your career, I'm sorry, you must leave The Apprentice." But no, really, you get fired because they have the power and you don't. That's how oppression works. So when people say, you know, don't fight fire with fire or don't fight oppression with oppression, that's not what we're doing. I obviously wrote the poem, which is kind of gone viral online, which is about, you know, not fighting fire with fire. It's called Stand and Burn. And it's about the way oppressed people are expected so often to just put up with being oppressed all the time, and if they do anything to try and save themselves or to try and change their situation, they're seen as the villains, so there's nothing they can really do. But I think that's such a toxic idea, because it's like I said before, we need to go to the source of the problem. I mean, yeah, we have to put out the fire. Don't tell off the people that are trying to escape the burning building. Don't tell them they're making too much of a fuss and they're making a big deal out of nothing. Help put out the fire. Do you know what I mean? Go to the source. It just seems so obvious to me. And when people make the argument of, you know, oppression won't solve oppression, well, duh, obviously it's not going to solve oppression, but that doesn't help anyone. You need to help the people that are being oppressed, and you need to help stop the oppression, otherwise nobody gets anywhere. It's so obvious, yet so many people can't see it. Something else I wanted to talk about with regards to this subject is, well, I made 2 videos recently about the trans community and the way they get a lot of abuse all the time, and the way they react to the abuse, and the fact that, I mean, obviously there are trans people online who are angry just the same as there are queer people online who are angry. I'm an angry queer person, hello, that's me. I'm an angry bisexual, I'm an angry queer. It doesn't mean that I hate all heterosexuals or that, like, I hate all cishet people. I mean, that's just not how, that's silly. I mean, we don't generalise like that. It just means that we're angry with the structure that puts these people at more of an advantage than us, and puts them in a position where they get to decide if we have rights, when every human should have human rights. What people forget when they talk about these issues a lot is that the internet is a venting place for so many people, and venting's important. In that way, anger is really healthy, because we know that if we bottle up anger, then it causes sadness and depression, and it can cause things like self-harm, and it's really dangerous. So we have to remember that people from oppressed groups do need a place to vent. I'm not saying that, like, being oppressed gives you the right to be an absolute dick. It doesn't give you the right to send people death threats, and it doesn't give you the right to be an absolutely horrible person. But to be honest, I think that is mostly a myth, because there are very, very, very few people that tend to do that. Obviously there are a few bad eggs in every group, but to be honest, I don't actually see a lot of that happening from press groups. What I see is venting that the privileged group sees and gets angry at because they don't understand that people need a place to vent about their issues. I mean, trans people, for example, I know because I speak to I've spoken to a lot of trans people online about this, and they feel like they can't express their anger and talk about their issues in real life because they're surrounded by cis people and the environment's really toxic and they're at a threat of violence all the time and, you know, a threat of murder. And it's very scary, and they need their place to vent. Just the same as I love getting involved with my LGBT community. I love it. I love being able to chat to other people from my community. And yeah, sometimes we tell jokes about cishet people. That's not violence, and that's not hurting you lot. You know, if you're cishet watching this, it's not hurting you. It's just a way for us to get through life sometimes. You know, we're in a really unfair system, and people need that escape, and humour can be that, and being in a community can be that. So as long as someone's not causing harm to someone or personally going out to attack somebody, then I really don't see the problem with people from an oppressed group having events online. It doesn't hurt anybody, and it just helps them to exist in this toxic world. The last thing I wanted to say in this video is it's about being an ally, and it's about the fact that if you're an ally, you don't choose the people in the group that you're an ally to and the people in the group that you don't. You know, you can't pick and choose who you have basic human respect for. If you're an ally, you support that whole group. Okay, you might hate somebody in that group. You might really hate. You might absolutely despise me. You might be a supporter of the LGBT community and you might hate me with a passion. But as a supporter of our community and an ally, you should still want to support my rights and want me to have the same human rights as everyone else. That's what being an ally is about. So all this picking and choosing and you have to be nice to me in order for me to give you your basic human rights is rubbish, because it just reinforces that horrible power structure that the oppressed somehow have to give the rights, and that the person in the oppressed group has to be nice and has to earn it. And that's just wrong. It's so topsy-turvy. People shouldn't have to be earning their rights from the privileged group. We should just all have our human rights. It's really simple. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry it's been such a bad one in terms of like artistic direction, because I've been moving about all over the place. And the lighting is really bad today. I do not know why. Just blame the good old British weather. That's what it is. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this. I don't want you to think that I condone violence at all. I really don't. I don't condone abuse, and I really don't think that we should be going out to abuse people and be dicks to them, and that's totally not what I support. But I do absolutely, wholeheartedly support the rights of the oppressed group to have a venting space and to be able to get that anger out there, so long as they're not like, you know, personally like going after people and, you know, like, I just think that we need to stop this whole idea that everyone has to be nice to each other all the time, because yes, we should be nice and respectful to each other, that's totally true, but when it comes to oppression, there are people that are getting hit with a big old stick day after day after day, and I think they have a right to be angry at the people who are hitting them with the stick. Not necessarily the people who aren't hitting them with the stick, but the people who are hitting them with the stick, they should be angry with, and we should be angry with them as well. Why don't we just go to the source and stop the oppression, and then people won't be so angry in reaction, because that's what they're angry about. They're angry about being oppressed. I'm angry about oppression too. I'm a bisexual. If we get rid of this heteronormativity, patriarchy, if we just change society and make it a nicer place for everyone, then there wouldn't need to be all this backlash, and we could all be friends, and then we could have this nicey nice place that so many people like to talk about when they're trying to shut down oppressed people trying to talk about their issues. So yeah, if you want that nicey nice place, and we actually all do, we all want that nice place, seriously, all jokes aside, we all want that. But the only way we're going to be able to do that is by going to the source, and that's the oppression. So don't get angry with the people in the oppressed groups that are reacting. Be angry with the oppressors and do something to help. Do something to help. Try to stop the oppressors. Stand up for us. Thank you so much for watching this. Do no harm, but take no shit. Do not go out to hurt people, but if someone is mean to you, you tell them to fuck off. You go for it. I love you all very much. Thank you for watching this. Claudia Boleyn, signing out.